Hey everyone, welcome to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. What's on the appetizers tonight? Well, Final Fantasy Square Enix has decided that Final Fantasy VII's Battle Royale, the first soldier game, is shutting down. Shutting down on January 11th, 2022, or 2023, sorry. The news basically came out not too long ago, here in, I think, in the beginning of October, and basically, the game had launched in November of 2021. So the first soldier was a battle royale game, kind of the likes of Fortnite and things of that nature. But it was set in the Final Fantasy universe. You could play as the soldiers, from Final Fantasy VII. And basically it was a battle royale game. I remember playing, it's only for phone, so iOS and Android. I remember playing it during the beta, and I hate phone games for one, but I just tried it out because, and yeah, it's a crappy battle royale phone game. So it had crossed 1 million downloads not long after it was released. So, there was probably somewhat of an audience there. A lot of people do on mobile tend to download games when they first release, and a lot of them drop off afterwards. So who knows how many actually remained. But basically, Square Enix had announced that we are regretful to announce that we'll be ending the service for Final Fantasy VII, The First Soldier, at 7 UTC on January 11th, 2023. We would like to thank you for all your support over the past years. Basically, there was a blog post as well where the company says they couldn't deliver the experience that we were hoping to and that you all deserve, leading to the game's unceremonious shuttering. And so a lot of people took to Twitter after that and basically said, duh. Basically, we already knew that. The writing was on the wall. Of course, it's a mobile only game. Like, this game probably would have been done better if it went to consoles or PC, but being mobile only in a battle royale, it's hard to retain an audience, I think, in that regard. But we're going to go around and see what everybody thinks. Square Enix has been, I'll put this out here before we go to somebody. Square Enix has been on a roll with these live services. So, this is just another nail in the coffin for them as far as live services go. But let's go around and see what everybody thinks. Shane, what do you think of all this?
First soldier. That's another closure. I mean, it's ridiculous. Square Enix has got to pull their head. Who's making the decision for these live service games? I mean, it's not working, guys. Just not working. And I remember the game being announced. Don't remember it being released. And not surprised it's closed or closing. Final Fantasy is a beloved franchise. Beloved. And we beloved it because it is an RPG. We don't beloved it because it's anything other than an RPG. We don't want battle royales. We don't want FPSs. We don't want survival horror. Well, survival horror would be kind of cool with a Final Fantasy thing. But that's not your fan base. I don't know if they're trying to expand to pull in other non Final Fantasy fans with this junk, or if it's just trying to milk what's popular with some games. There's a million battle royales out there now, and a handful do it well. A handful are still alive. Nobody in their right mind thought, at least nobody outside of Square Enix thought this was gonna, float. Anybody who loves Final Fantasy knew this turd was gonna sink. Anybody who isn't a Final Fantasy fan knew this turd was gonna sink. Just the whole ideal of the game, the whole implementation, it was just wrong to begin with. I mean, it's I watched some of the gameplay, and I remember the trailer, coming out, and it's like, maybe if it was console, cell phone only. Crap, I'm out. And I didn't even try it. And I played every type of Final Fantasy game, but I won't download it just because it's Final Fantasy. It's not worth the pot to piss in. So, what about you, Pat? I mean, being the biggest mobile phone player here, what do you think, buddy? And sorry, and a battle royale specialist.
What game? Who? What? I don't remember this game even coming out. That's how bad it was. I was like, what? This? But, and as soon as Nick said mobile only, I remember hearing something about the First Soldier, but I never even realized it was going to be mobile only. I thought they were going to do a PC release with it, but I guess not. And yeah, and as Nick said, they're batting pretty good on this games as a service. Sony or Final Fantasy games are known for their single player story. I mean, that's really what they're known for. And why would you think that anybody wants to play a battle royale game as Cloud, Barrett, or as any of this stuff, and things like that? I don't know what their thought process was behind this. It's like, what Final Fantasy needs? It needs battle royale. It needs PvP. What in their mind makes them think that anybody wants PvP from their games? I mean, their games barely have multiplayer in them at times. So they want to put in, PvP. I mean, the closest thing you get to PvP with a Square Enix game is Final Fantasy Online, right? But that's a MMORPG, which is to be expected. We're not expecting them to pump out a mobile or a battle royale game. We're expecting more Final Fantasy. We're expecting the second half of the Final Fantasy 7 remake we've been promised. I mean, years ago at this point. But it seems to be Square Enix's MO here lately. Just put out something to kill it. This game is going to be basically killed, a year and a month after it came out. I mean, how much money did you guys waste on this one? Let alone how much money did you guys waste on your other games of service? It's just horrible, guys. Come on. Start pumping out the Final Fantasies. Take these people, move them over to Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 7 remake, and these other things that you're doing, and stop. I really hate to say this because I don't want to say this to any gaming developer out there, but you're trying to redefine your games without new IPs. Granted, their last games of service was a new IP that just went flop, and I don't know how they thought it was going to be good. But maybe Square Enix is just not destined to make anything but Final Fantasy. I don't know. They make some more other stuff. Okay, I like some stuff that these guys don't like that they make or that they publish, but for the most part, Square Enix is known for their JRPGs. Stick with that. Stick with what you're good at. If you want to do something like this, you're going to have to hire on different staff or purchase another studio, in my opinion. But you've gone on a selling streak here lately where you're selling off some of your more popular titles, that people love, that aren't technically, all this stuff. So like when you sold your Eidos and all that stuff, what the hell's going on, guys? Come on. But that's just me. I don't know what they're thinking. I wonder how much more money they wasted and lost on this adventure. Hopefully not enough to really hurt them, but I'm pretty sure that any loss at this point is kind of hurting them because they look like they were going all in on selling all this crap for cryptocurrency and NFTs. And now it's like the NFT market's cooling down, and they were getting in right at the end of that market when it was cooling down. And they're like, yeah, we're going to jump in, and we sold these studios so we can get some money for this NFT marketplace. But I think we're going to hold off, but I don't know what they're doing anymore. They seem to be making big, big, bad moves, which are going to hurt them. What do you think? It's
already hurting them because they're selling.
Yeah,
everything.
I mean, it is. It is. Selling off what they own so they can pay the bills, keep the lights on.
Right. Yeah. And I agree with you guys. Square Enix has tried to make Final Fantasy into a different genre, just like Pat was saying. They have the Final Fantasy fighting game. They had the game with Vincent, which was like that third person shooter, right? And those didn't do very well for them, right? And so I don't know why they're trying to redesign Final Fantasy, right? Because it's not like the players out there here. Final Fantasy 16 is in development, or Final Fantasy 17 is development, or Dragon's Quest is in development, a new one. and people go, another one. They go, oh yeah, another one, because they want that, because they're great RPGs, and so they want another one, right? You don't need to redefine it. You got a good formula going there. Just keep making them, because people still want them, right? They still want them. They still clamor for them. People are excited. I know all of us are probably very excited for Final Fantasy 16 and Remake 2, and I'm excited because they're making a new Dragon's Quest, so I'm excited for that, right? These RPGs are just they're set in stone as far as their mechanics and stuff, and just keep them as they are, because I think they're doing a great job. But when you take your Final Fantasy, your most beloved franchises, and try to spin them off into stuff that people don't care about, yeah, I agree. I mean, like, what are they, like Shane said, what are they trying to do? Get the people that aren't Final Fantasy fans? And Square Enix, come on, guys, you made a battle royale in when this come out in November of 2021, right? In 2021, you tried to spit out a battle royale game. Battle royales are pretty much stalemated for quite a while, right? We haven't really seen a lot of big new ones, right? I'm sure there's some that have come out, but like big ones that stay, that you hear about, right? And this is just not going to be one of those ones that's going to, right? It's just like Pat said, trying to get into the NFT market when it's cooled down, trying to get into the blockchain market when it's basically cooled down and died off, trying to get into the battle royale market when it's basically cooled down and not died off, but it's definitely cooled down, right? We had that period of time where everything was battle royale. Now you don't really hear that much anymore, right? Besides the ones that that are popular. But you don't really hear anything about other battle royales coming out or anything like that. So I don't know what Square is thinking with this. I mean, I guess it sucks for those that enjoyed this, but I think, I don't know, they would have reached more people if they would have put this on PC or consoles, right? You probably would have had a bigger player base and probably could have kept it going for a lot longer. But putting it only on mobile, it's hard enough to play games on mobile in general, but playing a battle royale where you have to have that kind of twitch, when you're playing any sort of battle royale, you got to be quick, right? Because there's millions of people on the screen. They're all trying to kill you. So you've got to be fast. You got to be quick. You have those Twitch gaming skills, right? And doing that on a mobile screen is just going to be more difficult, I think, than, I mean, I don't know if it had controller support, but it could have. But just think about most of the players probably playing it just on the mobile with the mobile controls. I mean, I guess that puts everybody on an equal level, but still, I think this game probably could have lasted longer on PC or consoles or all of them, right? And not just mobile. But yeah, Square Enix is just making bad decision after bad decision. Their live service games just like give up on live service. Besides Final Fantasy 14, right? Everything else give up on as far as your live services go, because all of them have flopped. And what are you doing now? But I 100% agree. Like, take those people, don't have them develop some other stupid mobile game or something like that. Take them and have them help develop Final Fantasy 16 and Remake 2 and maybe some new RPGs, right? They just came. I don't think that was it them that created Diofield? I think it was someone else that developed it and they published Diofield.
Yeah.
But Diofield was a good example of trying something new, right? That really worked out. We all thought, we reviewed Diofield, we all thought it was a pretty good game. So do more stuff like that, like expand it. Like, you don't have to put the Final Fantasy name on it or the Dragon Quest name on it just because they're popular known names. Like, make something new. I mean, they are with Forspoken, but I don't know. Forspoken still hasn't gotten me excited. And that game looks like it's going to be, I hope it's not, but it looks like it's not going to be very good. But we'll see. We'll see when that comes out. But
yeah, they were like partner developers in Diofield, right? With like Landcast. I can't remember what the other company's name was, but something weird like that. Landcast or something weird like that. But I heard this game was really kind of rough on the mobile platform. Like, it had performance issues that probably, it's probably cause a lot more harm than anything. If you put out a game that's on mobile only, why isn't it fully optimized for that mobile device. Really, right? What happened? This game is only on mobile. It should have been 100% optimized for that platform. You shouldn't have released with that many problems, enough to kill your basically franchise. I mean, I guess it did last longer than their most recent games as a service game. That game that shall not be named that we all bought and played. Did we even play a full night? I don't even think we probably played a couple hours.
I think we played
and
a couple of nights, and then that was about the extent of it.
I don't think we really played. I think we more just turned it on and went, "Oh God!"
Right? We are like, did I really spend $60 for this damn thing?
Yep.
Right.
Buy this game or
That
kill
game was
we are-
horrible. Horrible.
we
I'd
are
rather play
3
G.I.
of-
Joe and just look
Yeah.
back at our reviews of different games.
We
That
are
is
the-
rough.
We are the 3 out of the 10 people who bought that game right here. So,
Yeah, that's oh God. Yeah, you know what they need to do? Square Enix needs to just remaster Final Fantasy VIII. Call me, get my ideals, and we're talking a hit. Forget the rest of Final Fantasy VII. We need Final Fantasy VIII. But here's the thing: the major change, we're going to kill Zell right off the bat. We don't need him in a goddamn game. So
Zell just doesn't talk. That's it. He just doesn't say a word, and he's silent.
Zell is a mime. No, Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy. They can change formulas, and they have been for years, but they can't change genres. Chocobo races, even they screwed that up. I mean, who is it? Resident Evil tried doing things like this too. They went to the action route with 5 and 6 and some of their spinoffs. It's not what made them. So if you want to make games that are different, you do it with a different title. Final Fantasy Spirits Within could have been named any freaking thing, and it would probably have done better. But people were disappointed because it was Final Fantasy title with no real Final Fantasy-esque anything to it.
All right, they should have just called it Alec Baldwin, the movie.
No, Steve Buscemi and Alec Baldwin.
And Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
Some of
presents
their
Gaia.
some of their movies they do good. Like Final Fantasy Advent Children is like one of my favorites. I love Advent Children.
But that is Final Fantasy. You see Final Fantasy,
right? Because it's based off of Final Fantasy VII with the Final Fantasy VII characters. So
yes, they could have just made Alec Baldwin, Steve Buscemi as Space Marines. I mean, that'd have been fine. I would have probably enjoyed the movie more.
Yeah. And it had
I like the movie, so
Kiefer Sutherland's dad in it. I can't remember his name. What's his name?
I mean,
Donald
I
Sutherland.
like Final Fantasy Spirits Within, but yes, it wasn't Final Fantasy.
Exactly, and I do too. I mean, it's a guilty pleasure, but you can't take away your bread and butter and try bread and jelly with the same thing. It don't work, And if they keep doing this, they're gonna flush themselves down a toilet. Then it's gonna end up selling everything off. Then it's gonna be Square Enix, Sony Entertainment. It's gonna just be one long ass title, because they're gonna have to sell everything to make up for the dumb decisions. I think Don Matrick works for Square Enix now.
Well, whoever's in charge, they're making some bad decisions lately.
Yeah. You ever heard of Drain the Swamp? They're trying to drain the bank account. They got it backwards.
Yep. All them green cash crocodiles. Got to get rid of that crap. Choking on all that money.
Yeah. I mean,
Chocobo's choking on that money.
They do make some good. They do make some decent spin-offs. Sometimes with their Final Fantasy series, the Chocobo dungeons are pretty fun. But
Dragon Quest Builders.
Well, that's Dragon Quest, but yeah, Dragon Quest Builders. Dragon Quest did the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Yes, with Builders, and Builders was really good, and so was Dragon Quest. The Warriors types games.
I don't think I played those.
It was kind of like the Dynasty Warriors type games, but with Dragon Quest. I can't remember what it's called. I have it, but I just can't remember the name of it. But anyway, they did those, and those were good as well. With Dragon Quest, so Dragon Quest has been fairly good in most of their spinoffs and stuff. But with Final Fantasy, they can't seem to spin it off into something that's worth playing, besides just Final Fantasy. So I don't know. Yeah, quit trying to turn things up, and just stick with what you're good at with the Final Fantasy brand. We're all waiting for Final Fantasy 16 and Remake 2, so let's just work on those and get those out the door, right?
Yep.
Screw this mobile stuff.
Yep. If they want to bring in new players, they need to do what they did with Final Fantasy 7 Remaster. It brought Pat into the fold, and Pat loves it. So that's the kind of moves they need to make. They need to quit making this other garbage. So.
Yep, for sure. Do you guys have anything else you want to say about this?
Final Fantasy 8.
There you go. Final Fantasy 8 remake, remaster. Oh, they already remade or remastered it. Remake. Yeah. So, like Shane said, don't put jelly on your bread. But we're gonna go ahead and end it there, everyone. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe if you watched this far. You can go ahead and subscribe there down below and hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with new videos that we do all the time. And let us know what you think. What do you think down below in the comments as far as Final Fantasy, as far as the mobile game, and spin-offs that Final Fantasy does? Should they, what do you think they should do? Do you think they should switch genres sometimes with spin-offs and various things? And if so, what should they spin it off into, right? So far, they've tried a few and they don't seem to be working out for them. So what do you think? And do you think Square Enix is kind of doing more hits and misses, or more misses than hits lately? Let us know down in the comments. But other than that, we'll see you next time.
See ya.